This baby was born with a huge tongue the size of an adult. You won't believe what it looks like today. A baby with a tiny sessile adult tongue. The baby born with a huge adult tongue is finally able to smile for the first time after a life-changing surgery. Paisley Morrison Johnson, from Aberdeen in South Dakota, USA, had a tongue so large that she needed a respirator for the first week of her life to keep her from choking to death. She was born with Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome, BWS, an overgrowth disorder that affects 1 in every 11,000 births worldwide. This rare condition caused the little girl's tongue to grow more than twice the size of her mouth until it shocked doctors, who said it was one of the largest they had ever seen. Until she was 6 months old, Paisley had to be fed through gastronomy because she struggled to eat and was not receiving the vital nutrients needed to keep her alive. Concerned parents Madison Keanu, 21, and Shannon Morrison Johnson, 23, hoped their daughter's mouth would grow to accommodate her overgrown tongue, but that never happened. Even after surgery to cut parts of it off, her tongue continued to grow back and still hangs out of her mouth. 6 months ago, Paisley's tongue was minimized for the second time and smiled for the first time after more than 6 inches of muscle was removed. Beasley, 16 months old, is now uttering the sounds that will allow her to say her first words. Photo by Madison Keanu / Catters News. Here's Beasley after giving birth and doctors fear she'll choke to death with her overgrown tongue. Prior to the cuts, Madison noted that people would stare at her daughter because of her enlarged tongue, a major symptom of BWS known medically as macroglossia. Other symptoms of the condition include wrinkles behind the ears, one side of the body larger than the other, and a higher than average birth weight. Because her tongue was constantly coming out of her mouth and out of her mouth, it always seemed like she was making silly faces, Madison said. Often, strangers would stare at her and others would make comments. They were always asking me why she looked so different and why she had such a huge tongue. Doctors hope that Paisley will not need more tongue reduction surgery and are now monitoring other risks associated with Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. Children with this condition have 7% to 25% of their cancers, so Paisley will have ultrasounds and blood tests every 3 months until she's 8 when the risks are significantly lower. Madison said, since her second surgery, her tongue hasn't grown back as much and it isn't affecting her eating or drinking out of a bottle, which is great. She is still being monitored. Every 3 months she has scans and blood samples taken to monitor for tumors, which is one of the cons of BWS. Despite this, she seems like a very happy baby and is being well taken care of, so we're really confident about her future. Approximately 90% of children with BWS have an enlarged tongue, which can lead breathing, feeding, and speech problems. Tricia Searles, co-manager of support group How Big BWS, said, Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome is a genetic overgrowth syndrome that typically affects a child's organs including the tongue, kidneys, and liver. Problems caused by macroglossia, an enlarged tongue, can be more severe and require immediate surgical intervention such as tracheotomy in order for the child to breathe. While many children do not need any intervention, some will need speech therapy, tongue reduction surgery or jaw realignment.